Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Build the Ultimate Zelda Coaster. My name's Attacking Toucans, and in this episode, we are going to mainly focus on the interior of the dungeon and finishing the coaster up. And also, you see our Dragon Roost Island over there that we built last episode. I do have some unfortunate news. I am going to be deleting that, and I will explain why later in the episode, but it didn't quite fit. Anyways, first thing we're doing is I'm moving the Sheikah Tower to the exterior of the castle. Originally, I made the inside of Hyrule Castle have a Breath of the Wild theme section, but in the long run, I ended up deciding that it would be better if we just made this exterior outside portion of the ride themed after Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild is just a big expansive map with kind of some really distinguishable landforms and objects, and I felt like the outside of this coaster would definitely fit the Breath of the Wild theme a lot better, and I'm going to re-theme the inside of the castle, which means I did sort of waste an episode kind of theming the inside of that, but I mean the majority of that time I spent doing that was building the Sheikah Tower and just like kind of adding the land formations inside, but you guys will see what I do in the future. And also, funny story, so I've actually recorded the next 4 episodes of Planet Coaster game footage wise, and I've edited all the footage, so all I have to do is commentate it. And I'm going to be commentating as I'm traveling to Los Angeles and going to E3. And so right now I'm just using my laptop and I'm holding my microphone, which I've never recorded a video while holding a microphone. It feels really weird. I just don't have a microphone stand. So if you hear any weird rustling sound, I guess it's because like my cord's rubbing against my leg or something. I'm trying to keep it as still as possible. But if you hear anything, that's what's happening. Anyways, I also moved my Korux outdoors, as you saw, because they needed some fresh air. They did not like being inside of the castle. They like a big, wide open expansiveness, so that's what I was giving to them. Now, I am doing some finishing touches to the exterior of the dungeon, just kind of filling in a little few of the gaps, and we're going to start working on the inside of this today. There is a lot of work to do on this dungeon. It's probably going to take a little bit, but we got to start somewhere. So one of my favorite elements from Zelda dungeons is I like it when the dungeons are creepy, when there's a more foreboding, sinister atmosphere. Some of my favorites are the Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time. I feel like that one is really creepy. And also Shadow Temple from Ocarina of Time. For my whole entire childhood, Shadow Temple was actually one of my favorites. I just liked how terrified I got while going into it. I mean, everybody was afraid of the Dead Hand, though. The Dead Hand was so menacing and looked like a child molester, and he pretty much was. It was like an undead child molester. It was a pretty scary experience. I'm probably going to try to recreate some of the enemies using some models and try to put them inside this dungeon. But going around a full circle, with this dungeon, I'm going to try to make it as sinister and scary as possible. And one of the main reasons I want to do this is because they have the scary scenery pack for Planet Coaster, but in my park, I don't really have any plans to make any fully scary themed sections. So I'm just mostly going to be using lots of these scary elements in different rides. I did put that haunted woods outside of the castle wall on our car ride, so that's a kind of scary themed area. And later on, I'm gonna put like more scary elements around the Gravitron that's outside. If you guys know what I'm talking about, maybe not. We haven't really done much with it yet, so you probably don't know what I'm talking about. And then I'm also gonna put lots of scary elements inside this dungeon. But apart from that, I'm not gonna have any just solely scary themed sections in this park. So for this first room of the dungeon, I just wanted to make a more tight looking corridor that leads to the larger area of the dungeon. So it's just like a small room. It's just a little transition room. I'm just trying to make it look as sleek as possible. I'm not sure if it looks that great, but I'm going to add some spiders and cool lighting to this section as well. Some spider webs, and we'll hopefully spookify it up a little bit. Make it feel more like a dank dungeon. Dank. That freaking word. And also, as I'm placing these spider webs, I just want to complain about spider webs for a second. I went hiking a couple days ago. I go hiking every once in a while, and just walking through the woods, there is so many like cobwebs and just like wispy little webs that end up just grazing over your body as you're hiking, and that is the worst feeling ever, just because, I don't know, it's just like a weird stringy feeling, and it just sucks. And you're not sure if there's a spider in it or if it's just a random loose cobweb, and then you're just trying to like kind of do parkour around spider webs sometimes. There was like 3 times where I almost walked straight through a spider web with a spider in the middle of it. And I can't think of anything worse, honestly, than walking straight through the center of a spider web full of, I was gonna say spiders, but I've never really seen multiple spiders in a spider web. It's usually only one. Thank God though, what if whole entire families of spiders lived on spider webs? Like what if you just saw a spider web with 30 spiders on it? That would be one of the worst experiences I could ever imagine. Like walking through a spider web that has 30 spiders. Thank God spiders are the type of insect or arachnid or whatever they are to ride solo. They're independent spiders. Well, I guess most of the time the female spiders end up eating their husband after they have sex. Not husband. Spiders don't get married. Spiders don't commemorate marriage, but you know what I mean. Their partner. So I guess that's kind of true. They always just kind of live solo because they eat their partners. Fun times. Thank God humans don't do that. I wonder if male spiders know they're about to be eaten after having sex with a female spider. I wonder if that's like knowledge, if they go into it willing, like that spider puss is just so good, they're willing to die for it. Who knows? So I mentioned earlier that I'm going to be using a lot of the spooky pack for this dungeon, but I'm also going to be using a lot of the adventure pack as well because it has a lot of these traps, these Indiana Jones temple type things, the types of traps that you see inside the Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time. I'm going to be including a lot of those types of things because as well, I don't think I'm going to have any room to put an adventure themed section to this park. The areas I still have planned is I plan on making like a Rivera themed go-kart section, and I also want to make a Western themed log ride and wooden coaster towards the back of the park because I feel like a good Western themed section is always good. And plus I want to use all the main scenery packs from the base game in this park because I'm trying to mainly show everything this game is capable of doing along with all of the different themes this game has to offer. But this big gigantic room for this coaster, my main inspiration was probably the gigantic room in the Shadow Temple, the really large room that has the scythes that fall down and you have to like time yourself running underneath them, and just like the big floating scary platforms. You can't really see the ground or the ceiling. It's just like a gigantic open chasm that makes you wonder how large the space really is, how large the temple is. I'm trying to really show that even underground you can make these gigantic open areas, and I think that's really cool. Alright, so now you see me tunneling a little bit further with the coaster, but I ended up deleting this little small segment of the coaster because I was tunneling in the wrong direction. I needed to be tunneling towards Hyrule Castle, and I was accidentally tunneling the opposite direction. Why I'm even showing you this footage? I don't know. Just to show you that I also make mistakes. I am not a perfect person. Contrary to popular belief, I am not a perfect person. I was kidding. Okay, next thing I'm doing real fast is I'm deleting Dragon Roost Island. So sad. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. One, I felt like it was a little bit, it's kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. Now Hyrule Castle, it sort of looks like just a regular castle with some Zelda inspiration to it, but Dragon Roost Island is a really just blatant reference, and I feel like it just didn't fit in the theme park. It was a cool little build. Second reason is because I had the island facing the opposite direction that I wanted to. After I built it, I was like, you know what, it's kind of weird having the front of the island facing away towards everything. All you saw was the ugly butt of the island, and it just didn't look that great. It was a fun little thing to build, but unfortunately it did not make the cut. Now what I'm doing right here is I'm tunneling the end of the coaster over to the dungeon section of the coaster. I wanted the coaster to be a complete loop just so I could know where the coaster was in space, because building underground can be a little bit difficult, so I just wanted to complete the circuit. It also makes me feel a lot better that this coaster can now fully go in a complete loop. Now I'm not going to just leave that as a big straight long section, but I just wanted to kind of have a general idea, like a good sense of space underground, because it's kind of hard to tell where things are down here, so it just made things easier for me. Now I went ahead and made like a circle with the coaster. I'm going to end up having that surround a giant circle of torches, sort of like the entrance to the Shadow Temple, and I'm going to have the torches light up as we go around. It should look pretty neat. But I got a little bit tired of working on the dungeon, so to finish up the episode, I decided that I wanted to finish up the exterior of Hyrule Castle. Been working on it for a very long time, and I think it's about time we just finish polishing up the front. And I'll probably continue adding small little details like throughout time, but we're getting a majority of it done, and I would say we're getting it 99.9% done, and it's gonna be nice. Honestly, I am super happy with the exterior of this castle. It looks so nice, and it's so cool. Almost every single ride you ride in this park, you can kind of see it in the distance, and it's just like Disneyland has the Disney castle in it, and that's pretty awesome. We have the Zelda castle, which is like 10 times the size, and it just looks super awesome. And it just really makes this park stand out, I think, because it's just a gigantic landmark. I love this park so much, guys. I am so passionate about finishing it. I'm sorry it's taking so long to finish this park, but I am still really passionate about finishing it. I would not still be working on it if I wasn't passionate about it. I just think it's turning out so cool. Honestly, I'm surprised my computer's still able to load this park with how many objects it has in it, but it's still doing it. I mean, this game runs really smooth. Like, this park runs smoothly for me too when I'm not recording. And when I'm recording, that's when my computer starts chugging a bit. But when I just play the game and just have this park open, my computer does completely fine. And it's not even that great of a computer. A lot of my parts are, I think, 5-year-old parts on my computer. So even if this game takes a decent computer to run, it doesn't have to have a perfect computer, which is nice. And then, it's kind of funny, most of our finishing polish is just adding extra windows. Windows that have no functionality because there's no rooms that lead to them. But I guess that's just one of the things about theme parks. There's a lot of fake buildings and fake rooms in theme parks. Just buildings that they don't actually have a use, they're just there for decoration. And they have fake windows, fake doors that don't even open up. Just the name of the game, amusement park. It's just for the theming, man, for the theming. Now, the very last thing we're going to do this episode is we're going to finish off the butt of the wall. So I'm going to put some towers at the end of the wall, and I'm also going to use it as a way to disguise the area where the coaster comes back up from the underground. So this is pretty much the tower that they have at the end of walls where the guards can go and just get some shelter, maybe get some rest, maybe supply, like where they store the supplies and that kind of stuff. And honestly, it's super nice seeing a lot of these final details coming into the castle. All of this used to just be an idea in my mind, and then after a ton of hard work and just building for hours upon hours, I finally brought it all to life. I mean, it's still not done, but just seeing how far it's come from being absolutely nothing to where it is now, it's been quite an adventure. And we still have, I'm guessing there's still going to be 3 more episodes of the Zelda Coaster series. I think it'll take me 3 more episodes after this to finish the ride, because we'll have to finish the dungeon. We need to finish the inside of the castle, like where the passengers load on. We need to finish the upstairs room, and I think each of those items will take a full episode to finish up. But that's not too bad, considering this is episode 9, I believe. I'm pretty happy with that. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching this episode of Let's Build the Ultimate Zelda Coaster. If you enjoyed it, please press that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Hope you have a great day.